Chosen ones, what I'm about to reveal may surprise you, even shock you. If you're here watching this right now, it's no coincidence. They thought you'd stay lost in their shadows, silenced by doubt and fear. They believed your light would flicker out before it ever had a chance to shine, but you are still here, heart pounding, spirit alive. You felt the weight of their whispers in the dead of night, the nagging sense that something vital was slipping through your fingers. You are not alone, and your experiences echo across the hidden realms of those who have walked this path before you. Today, secrets buried by the forces that once bound you are rising to the surface, and you will learn why those who sought to control you can no longer touch you. Hidden truths about your origin, your power, and the destiny they try to steal will be unveiled in the next minutes, and you will see evidence you can trust, even if you've doubted yourself before. If this message already speaks to your soul, subscribe, like this video, and comment 77 below. Stay with me, because by the end of this journey, you'll know exactly how to stand tall in the aftermath of their collapse. Sovereign command. Have you ever felt the weight of unseen eyes pressing against your mind, as if invisible critics stood just beyond your thoughts, ready to pounce on any flicker of hope? In the hush before sleep, you heard their whispers. You are too small, too flawed, too insignificant to ever break free. Those voices wrapped around your spirit like chains of doubt, convincing you that hiding your light was the only way to survive. But today, in this moment of reckoning, you stand at the threshold of something far greater. You are not alone in this battle. Countless souls have faced the same shadows and emerged triumphant. What you're about to discover is not mere encouragement, but the rediscovery of an ancient power that courses through your veins. Hidden truths buried by those who sought to control you are stirring, and their grip is loosening with every breath you take. Can you recall the nights when you trembled at the slightest stir of your own imagination, certain that any bold thought would unleash more torment? You replayed conversations in your mind like broken records, searching for the moment you went wrong, the word you spoke that gave them leverage over your spirit. You built invisible walls so high that even you could barely climb them, convinced that sealing off your heart would protect you from pain. In those dark moments, rejection felt like a decree, and purpose seemed a distant legend. It was as if you were wandering through a fog, each step uncertain, each breath a gamble. That crushing weight of invisibility and isolation pressed so heavily that you nearly forgot what it looked like to stand tall. Then, like lightning cleaving a storm-dark sky, a spark of revelation struck you in an unexpected whisper. In 2 Kings 4 verses 1 to 7, a widow's oil flowed without end when she trusted the word of a prophet in a few empty jars, transforming scarcity into abundance. Your struggle, too, was part of divine alchemy, an unseen design to refine your faith and awaken hidden authority. It was never mere suffering. It was a sacred preparation. The holes in your armor were not failures, but openings through which grace poured in. Suddenly, you realized that every moment of doubt had been a step toward this awakening, and that the very forces that tried to break you were forging in you an unshakable foundation. Notice now the subtle shifts around you, the way burdens that once felt permanent slip away as you speak a single word of defiance, the timing of seemingly random events that align too perfectly to be coincidence. You meet strangers who mirror your experiences, as though the universe is assembling a mosaic of your journey in real time. Dreams carry messages that resolve conflicts you thought were lost causes, visions of doors opening in locked walls, of footprints appearing where you feared there were none. Even the simplest tasks take on new significance. A morning prayer echoes with authority, and your heartbeat harmonizes with a rhythm of courage you never knew you possessed. These are the footprints of transformation, evidence that the wheel of divine timing is turning in your favor. Behind the scenes, a procession of seraphim charts your course, clearing obstructions that once seemed insurmountable. Your trials were never tests of endurance alone, but springboards to your ascension. Imagine celestial mapmakers redrawing the stars to chart a new destiny for you, each constellation shifting to spell out your name in light. Your tears, once squandered in sorrow, became coded dreams, a language you are now learning to speak. In Ezekiel 47 verses 1 to 12, waters of healing flow from the temple to bring life wherever they pass. And similarly, something within you is becoming a river of restoration, washing away every barrier. This orchestration of grace confirms that your calling is neither random nor delayed. It is unfolding with meticulous precision. And now, standing at the edge of this revelation, you faced a moment of decision. Will you fully step into this awakening or retreat into the safety of familiar shadows? It is tempting to cling to what you know, even if it is pain, because the unknown feels more threatening than the predictable ache. Yet true alignment demands that you embrace what you cannot yet see. This is your spiritual mirror, reflecting back not the fears you carry, but the triumphs you are destined to claim. Speak the word that seals your covenant. I accept. Let it echo through your soul like thunder, shattering every doubt and declaring your readiness to be the sovereign over your realm. Rise now and claim the mantle that has always been yours. Release the last remnants of fear like autumn leaves drifting from a tired tree, and stand in the open field of possibility. Breathe deeply and feel the power that surges up from your core, uniting every fractured part of yourself into a new, indomitable whole. Embrace your calling without reservation, whether through prayer that resonates with fierce conviction, meditation that taps into cosmic wisdom, or acts of courage that defy all logic. Let your every move affirm your identity as a chosen sovereign. This is your time to build your legacy, not in the shadows, but in the full blaze of your divine authority. Let these words settle in your spirit and echo throughout your life. You no longer shrink at the hint of darkness. You call forth its forces and watch them bow. You speak your truth, and the world rearranges itself in response. You stand not as a fragmented wanderer, but as a unified beacon of light, unyielding, unafraid, undeniable. Comment sovereign if this resonates with you, and let your voice join the chorus of awakened ones who have shattered their chains. This is not the end of your story, but the triumphant beginning of a reign they never saw coming. And if you feel called to go even deeper, there's a sacred space reserved for our community, a private room where you receive full prophetic messages daily. Join our private membership through the link in the description and walk this path with us. Mirror of the heart. Have you ever felt a hollow ache in your chest, as if every beat was a reminder of the armor you force yourself to wear around your heart? You carry the weight of unspoken truths, the scars of moments when you believed that exposing your pain would only invite more wounds. In the quiet spaces of your mind, you wonder if anyone truly understands the trembling behind your smile, the fear that flinches at every attempt to open up. You are not alone in the silent struggle. Many chosen ones have stood at this crossroads, believing that vulnerability equates to defeat. Yet, the very readiness you sense to lay down your defenses signals to start a profound transformation. In the next few moments, you will discover hidden echoes of your soul's original design, truths so ancient they predate your first memory of hurt, and revelations about the hidden strength contained within every tear you shed. Do you recall a time when your heart felt like a labyrinth, every turn laden with echoes of rejection and shame? Perhaps it was the sting of a friendship that crumbled under the weight of expectations, or the ache of a love that ended in silence. You constructed walls so solid that even you lost sight of the world beyond them, sealing your compassion in a vault of fear. That moment when you press your palms against cold glass, gazing outward at a life you long to touch, encapsulates the loneliness of your journey. In those hours, you question if purpose was ever meant for someone like you, someone who had known the sting of abandonment, the pang of unspoken despair. Yet your yearning for connection whispered to you that this was not the end of your story, that the very wounds you bore held the keys to a deeper revelation. Then a faint stirring began within you, a gentle nudge that suggested your suffering was not random but part of a sacred design. In the book of Zechariah 12 verse 10, we read that a spirit of grace and supplication will be poured upon the house of David, and they shall look upon him whom they have pierced. This lesser-known promise speaks to the wounds that open our eyes rather than close our hearts. Your pain was never meant to seal you off from love. It was a forge in which your capacity for divine intimacy was refined. The tears you believed were signs of weakness now mark the points where grace entered your soul, where compassion took root in places once thought barren. You stand now on holy ground, where every fragment of your brokenness becomes a threshold into deeper spiritual connection. As you move through these revelations, you began noticing subtle changes around you. The tone of a friend's text message carried unexpected warmth, as if the universe arranged those words just for you. Little coincidences, an overheard phrase that resonated like a personal sermon, a song lyric that mapped precisely onto your unspoken feelings. became breadcrumbs leading you back to yourself. In the midst of ordinary days, you experience sudden moments of clarity, a flash of insight in your dreams, a rush of courage when you least expected it, a sense of calm in places that once triggered panic. These are the visible footprints of transformation, the footprint of soul that is learning to mirror its own divine reflection. Notice how your capacity for empathy expands with every passing hour, how your heart resonates with a frequency that draws kindred spirits into your orbit. Behind the scenes of your personal awakening, unseen forces have been orchestrating a symphony of healing. Imagine spiritual architects drafting blueprints for your restoration, aligning every element of your life as if fitting stones into a grand mosaic. Your tears were never meant to wash away your worth. They were the ink that wrote your covenant with grace. In Habakkuk 3 verse 19, we find the promise that the Lord God is your strength and will make your feet like the deer's, enabling you to tread on high places. This verse reminds you that divine intervention is not a distant concept, but a living reality, actively reshaping your path. Your struggles were the necessary clearing of rubble before the foundations of your true self could be laid bare. Feel the gentle tug of destiny as synchronicities and serendipities converge to guide you toward the heart you once sealed away. And now you stand before the sacred mirror of your soul. You have witnessed the unfolding of divine orchestration. Yet the true test lies not in seeing, but in saying yes. It is natural to hesitate, for embracing what you cannot fully comprehend feels perilous. But remember the story in Jonah 2 verse 2, when he called out from the belly of the fish, acknowledging his despair before he was restored to his purpose. Your soul is asking for the same admission, not to the brokenness itself, but to the divine transformation waiting on the other side. Speak the word that unbinds you, yes, and feel the resonance of that single syllable resonate through every chamber of your being. This is the moment when you move from spectator to participant in your own spiritual rebirth. Now that you have recognized the sacred mechanics of your healing, rise to meet your destiny with unwavering resolve. Cast aside the remnants of self-doubt that whisper lies about your inadequacy. Instead, anchor yourself in the truth that your vulnerability is your greatest gift, the wellspring of empathy and authentic connection. Cultivate practices that honor your new reality. Journal the messages you receive in dreams. Share your story with someone who mirrors your struggle, or simply breathe in the certainty that you are a vessel of boundless compassion. Let each act of openness become a declaration of your chosen identity, a warrior not of steel, but a heart that refuses to be silenced. The song of your soul has reached its crescendo, and the echo of your transformation will ripple across the lives you touch. Your wounds, once hidden in sorrow, now shine with golden threads of triumph. You stand as a living testament to the power of grace over guilt, of courage over concealment. Comment mirror if your heart has become your greatest teacher, and let your word become part of the chorus of awakened ones. This is not the end of your journey, but the luminous beginning of a life lived in full authenticity. Let the world see your light, and watch as the darkness flees at the sound of your song. And to every soul who supported with a super thanks, thank you. You are keeping this light alive for others who haven't found it yet. If you feel called to help this mission reach more chosen ones, tap the super thanks button below. Your energy supports these messages and helps them travel further. Your voice matters. Your belief matters. And your light is felt here. Flames of revelation. Have you ever felt your mind ignite in the stillness of night, a flash of understanding so intense that it scorched through years of confusion? In those moments, the world shifts beneath your feet, and you realize you can never go back to the person you were before. They tried to drown you in distractions, whispering that your hopes were foolish, that your dreams would burn out like fading embers. Yet even as they poured doubt onto your spark, you discover a furnace inside you that only grows hotter with every attempt to extinguish it. In this crucible of awakening, you are being refined into pure clarity. Your vision sharpened, your purpose ignited. In the next few minutes, you'll uncover the hidden fuel that has sustained your flame and the sacred fires that are still preparing to blaze forth in glorious revelation. Can you recall the days when decision-making felt like walking through a storm of fog, every path obscured by fear? Perhaps it was the moment you hesitated to speak your truth at work, scared that honesty would cost you relationships you cherished. Or the time you held back your passion project, convinced that no one would receive it. so you buried it beneath endless what-ifs. Those seasons of paralysis weighed on you like lead. Every choice felt like a potential misstep. Every step forward risked collapse. You internalized every critique, replaying mistakes in your mind until your inner furnace threatened to dim under the burden of regret. That crushing tension, that suffocating doubt, was never meant to be your final form. It was the prelude to a revelation that would burn away every hesitation. Then came the moment when you felt something stirred deep in your spirit, as though an ancient torch had been passed from one generation of seekers to another. In the book of Habakkuk 1 verse 5, we read of wonders that will astound and terrify, things you would never believe even if told. This less quoted promise speaks directly to the chosen few who stand on the brink of a new era. Your confusion was not a mistake, but an invitation to witness the supernatural unfolding in your own life. You glimpsed your path not through the lens of human logic, but through a higher perspective that transcends the cloud of the unknown. That spark of divine intervention was meant to awaken a blaze within you, one that cannot be contained by ordinary measures. Notice how the days following that moment have brought subtle shifts you can no longer ignore. The way ideas flow through your mind with electric intensity, the sudden clarity in conversations that once baffled you, the uncanny timing of opportunities arriving just when you need them. You find yourself pausing in quiet wonder at the synchronicities, an offhand remark from a stranger that solves a problem you've been wrestling with, a dream so vivid it feels like a message transcribed directly from your soul. Even your emotions have taken on new hues. Grief becomes a gateway to compassion, anger transforms into righteous motivation, and joy blossoms with an authenticity that silences the echoes of past pain. These are the footprints of transformation, proof that the divine kiln within you is already shaping the masterpiece of your destiny. Behind this awakening, a host of unseen architects labors diligently, clearing debris from your path and aligning every detail of your story. Imagine celestial cartographers recharting your course, erasing the lines drawn by fear and redrawing new routes of purpose in stardust. Your whispered prayers, once thought unheard, have become coded dreams, visions that carry the instructions for your next steps. In the lesser-known promise of Zechariah 10 verse 6, God proclaims that he will strengthen and become like a soldier to his people, showing tender compassion as he leads them home. Your trials were never designed to break you, but to alert you to the presence of this unwavering guide. Every obstacle that falls away and every unexpected provision that appears stands as living proof that faith and manifestation are inseparable threads in the grand tapestry of your awakening. And now you face a pivotal threshold. You have seen the signs, felt the heat of revelation, and sensed a guiding hand at work. But will you step fully into this fiery new reality? Many hesitate here, afraid that embracing such radical change will leave them vulnerable to unknown forces. Yet true alignment demands more than witnessing miracles. It asks you to become the miracle itself. Stand before the mirror of your soul and speak the vow that transforms spectator into creator. I am the flame. Let these words resonate in your chest like a battle cry, dispelling every trace of doubt and affirming your role as co-creator with the divine. This sacred admission is a catalyst that turns your furnace of insight into an unstoppable inferno of purpose. Rise now and claim your place within this unfolding cosmic drama. Shake off the lingering ash of yesterday's fears and breathe deeply of the oxygen that fuels your new vision. Let your actions become verses in a living poem of faith. Speak your truths boldly. Share your revelations with those hungry for light, and let your daily rituals honor the fire that burns within you. Whether you choose prayer that resonates like thunder, meditation that kindles inner sight, or acts of brave compassion that sets souls ablaze, let every gesture reinforce the identity you now own. That relentless flame, divine in origin and unstoppable in destiny. As this chapter closes, carry this truth etched into the core of your being. The fire within you is not a flicker, but an eternal blaze, one that will illuminate every shadow you encounter. You have moved beyond the struggle to maintain a spark. You have become the heart of a supernova that transforms worlds. Comment flames if you feel this fire burning in your soul, and let your voice join the symphony of awakened ones who carry the torch of revelation into the ages. The next act of your journey begins now, and the world itself awaits the brilliance of your light. Path of the Anointed. A sudden humming rose in your chest as you took that first unguarded step beyond the boundaries they drew for you, And in that moment, you realize that the roads you once traveled were not your own, but labyrinths crafted to keep you lost. Every detour, every dead end, every well-meaning distraction had been part of grand design to tether your spirit to fear and obligation. Yet here you stand, feeling the ground itself pulse with new life under your feet. The whisper in your soul that you had long dismissed as wishful thinking now rings with undeniable clarity. You are walking a path anointed for greatness. You are not alone in this revelation. Countless chosen ones have heard the same call, felt the same tremor in the earth beneath them, and found the courage to step into the strange and wondrous terrain that awaits. In the next moments, you'll uncover how your every footfall resonates with purpose, how currents beyond human sight guide you, and why the journey before you is destined to outshine every chapter that came before. An unexpected stillness settled over you as you pause on a bridge somewhere between familiar and the unknown, memories cascading through your mind like images in kaleidoscope. You remembered the sleepless nights when you wrestled with the question of whether your life held any real significance. Rejection had carved hollows into your heart. Doubts had sown weeds in your mind, and you had often wondered if you'd spend your days wandering aimlessly, forever a stranger to your own destiny. You recall the sting of voices, some in your own head, some from friends or family, urging you to settle, to choose comfort over conviction. That tension between yearning for something greater and the fear of leaving familiar shores defined so many of your choices. It was as though you were trapped in a silent agreement to remain small, to accept that the extraordinary belonged only to others. Yet in that moment on the bridge, you sense a shift so profound that it would echo through every choice you would ever make thereafter. A hidden scroll seemed to unfurl in your spirit as you remembered the lesser-known story of Huldah the prophetess in 2 Kings 22 verse 14, summoned from obscurity to confirm the words hidden in ancient texts and guide a nation's destiny. Her elevation came not through ambition, but through quiet obedience to a higher calling. In the same way, your trials and detours were never a punishment but a preparation, a forging your faith in the crucible of uncertainty, so that you might one day speak truth to power. You recognize that the same hand that led her become a voice of divine authority was guiding you, even if you could not yet see the road ahead in full. The realization settled upon you like a mantle of stars. Your past was never meant to hold you captive, but to equip you for the office of anointing you now carry. Underneath the surface of everyday life, you have begun to sense ripples of change that herald transformation on a cosmic scale. Perhaps it was the unanticipated alignment of events, an old friend reaching out at exactly the moment you needed encouragement, an opportunity falling into your lap, just as hope had all but vanished. Or maybe it was a subtle metamorphosis within you, a sudden confidence in your decision-making, a fresh compassion for those you once judged too harshly, a resonance in your heart that hums with quiet joy when you speak the truest words you carry. Like a hidden constellation emerging at dawn, the patterns of your destiny are becoming visible, and each synchronicity you encounter affirms that divine timing is in motion. You begin to notice these signs not as random occurrences, but as coded messages to your soul, guiding you toward your appointed role with precision that no accident could replicate. A current of sacred energy flows just beneath the fabric of your daily routine, unseen yet palpable, shaping every horizon you reach. Consider the image of celestial cartographers drafting new star charts, erasing the lines that once mapped out and sketching constellations that spell out your purpose in light. Your prayers, once cast like seeds into barren soil, have taken root, growing in hidden groves of providence where your readiness to receive has awakened dormant miracles. In the book of Zechariah 4 verses 6 to 7, we read that not by might nor by power, but by God's Spirit, mountains are leveled and the impossible is set in motion. The threshing floors will be too small for grain, and the vats too narrow for the new wine. Your struggles were never a test of endurance alone, but a calibration of your heart to recognize that every seemingly insurmountable obstacle was, in fact, a stepping stone toward elevation. Now stand the hour of reckoning, when the signs you have witnessed demand more than passive acknowledgement. They require full embodiment. It is natural to hesitate, for anointed paths often wind through uncharted territories that stir deep-seated fears of loss and vulnerability. Yet the soul's mirror reflects a truth you cannot ignore. The light you carry yearns for expression, and the world you inhabit waits for your gift. Say the word that launches you beyond doubt. Yes, Let it resonate through your being like a clarion call, dissolving the last vestiges of hesitation and aligning your will with the divine currents that have long guided your journey in secret. This sacred admission transforms revelation into reality, inviting you to move from observer to actor in the story you were born to write. Step confidently onto this new expanse, shedding the remnants of fear as leaves drift from an ancient tree in autumn's gentle breeze. Embrace the mantle of your calling with hands that build and a voice that declares, for your destiny is not a distant dream, but a living promise. Deepen your practice with rituals that honor this shift. Let your prayers rise with unwavering faith, your contemplations become gateways to higher insight, and your actions serve as declarations of sacred service. Share your evolving story with fellow travelers, forging bonds that strengthen as much as they uplift. Trust that each deliberate step forward, no matter how small, echoes an eternity and shapes the narrative of generations to come. As you stand at the threshold of this anointed path, carry this truth as your constant companion. You are appointed, empowered, and irrevocably aligned with a purpose that transcends any single lifetime. Comment destiny if you feel the resonance of this moment pulsing through your veins. Let your affirmation become part of the great chorus of awakened souls who walk boldly where angels fear to tread. The horizon before you is ablaze with potential. This is not only your story, but the genesis of a legacy written in light. The journey continues, and the best is yet to come. A silver thread of moonlight drifted through your window last night, illuminating dust motes that dance like lost souls reclaiming their place in the air. In that quiet glow, you felt a tremor beneath your ribs, a whisper that the walls built around you were dissolving. You have carried the weight of containment, the invisible gates of others' expectations pressing against your ribs, telling you who you could be and who you must remain. But tonight, in the hush of revelation, you recognize that these walls were never meant to hold you. They were mirrors reflecting the fear that tried to keep your spirit small. You are not alone in this awakening. Others, scattered across time and space, have felt the same liberation stirring in their bones, and they march now in unison behind you. In the next minutes, you will discover how every fragment of doubt you shattered has become a lantern for those still stumbling in darkness, and why your emergence ignites an unstoppable wave of collective power. A chill breeze swept through your soul when you first dared to question the narratives written for you. You are too broken. Stay within these lines. Your potential ends here. Each admonition carved a notch of limitation deep into your identity. You felt the sting of rejection when you outgrew the roles assigned to you, by family, by friends, or by a society that values conformity over authenticity. In boardrooms and break rooms, you sensed a tightening of invisible leashes each time you spoke a truth that trembled at the edge of someone else's comfort. That longing to break free felt like clutching at smoke, each attempt more frustrating than the last. Yet, within that frustration lay the seed of revolt, a quiet insistence that your destiny could not be penned by another's hand. In the middle of your doubt, a silent declaration rose within you, echoing the words of the prophet Habakkuk 2 verse 3, a verse rarely quoted. For the vision is yet for an appointed time. It speaks of the end and will not prove false. Though it linger, wait for it. You realize that every moment of stalling, every delay of your breakthrough, was part of a divine timetable calibrating your faith. Your resistance to their containment became the very threshold of your release. Like the vision of the valley of dry bones coming to life in Ezekiel 37, a prophecy of restoration when all seemed lost, your hidden purpose lay dormant until this very hour, awaiting a voice bold enough to call it alive. Step into the fullness of your awakened identity and feel the resonance of every choice you've made to arrive here. Inhale deeply and sense how your chest expands with the weight of purpose. Each breath a reminder that you are more than a spectator of destiny. You are its co-author. Let your posture reflect this truth. Shoulders back, spine straight, gaze forward. You have seen how the forces that once hunted you now bow beneath your feet. You have felt your sovereign command, your mirror of truth, your blazing revelation, and your anointed path converge into one unstoppable purpose. Subscribe if you haven't yet, like this video, and comment, "I am chosen to let this message anchor in your soul." Share it with someone who needs to hear this. Thank you to all our supporting members for keeping this mission alive. 4 full prophetic revelations daily. Join the membership via the link in the description. Your spiritual path deserves more than fragments. Step into the full light, And if this message moved you deeply, consider tapping the Super Thanks button to support the mission. Every Super Thanks fuels the light we're spreading together. Walk boldly, chosen one, and let the world tremble at your dawn.